Greetings, dear viewer, and welcome to Purposes Crossed, where I hope that people who are called by Jesus for different purposes cross paths and exchange ideas. In this video, we will continue with our series of devotions on the Psalms, and today we are dealing with Psalm 10. Now, Psalm 10 is one of three Psalms in Book 1 that do not have a superscription. The other two are Psalm 2 and Psalm 33. Psalm 10 speaks powerfully to us today. We look around us and see those whom we may consider wicked, and we see that they are prospering. Hardly a week goes by without us hearing about some scandal or the other. Our politicians take bribes and fail to represent us properly. Doctors overprescribe medications because they get kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. Engineers compromise on design specifications and endanger the lives of people. Spiritual leaders abuse their authority and cause emotional and spiritual trauma among their followers. Teachers discipline their students in very harsh ways and quench their curiosity and desire to learn. Spouses cheat on each other and physically or emotionally harm each other. And I could go on, but you get the picture. When the psalm says, "Their ways prosper at all times," we know that it rings true. Maybe we wonder what kind of a world this is that God has made. We could easily shrug off all the evils as being caused by human sinfulness. And certainly there is a truth in that realization. But the real question we want to answer is, where is God in all of this? In other words, why does God not do something about all the evil in the world? Why is He silent? Does He not see all the evil that is around us? Does He not witness the pain and suffering in His creation? Why does He let those who abuse others get away with it? Why does He permit those who are unjust to succeed in their endeavors? The psalmist declares that it seems that because God is apparently silent despite all the injustices and evil in the world, those who promote injustice and do evil think that God will not call them to account. They think that He will remain silent forever, allowing them to get away with all the horrible things that they do. It is easy in the face of one verse after another that describes how evil people to get away with their wicked deeds, to think that there is no hope of justice in this world. We may begin to despair then as a result of this. Indeed, if there is truly no hope for justice, we could not be faulted for descending into despair. However, verse 14 gives us the turnaround that our hearts so earnestly long for. Boldly, despite all appearances, the psalmist declares, "But you do see. Indeed, you know trouble and grief, that you may take it into your hands." God is not blind to the evil that pervades the world. Rather, He is going to personally deal with all the trouble and grief that His people experience. This is a statement of faith. When evil people seem to be getting away with all sorts of wickedness, to claim that God will set things right is a bold statement of faith. What gave the psalmist this confidence that God does indeed see the evil in the world and would act to eliminate it? The psalmist does not offer us any clue about this. He does not tell us that God has acted to remedy the situation he was facing. Rather, even after declaring that God sees everything that happens and the evil that is around him, the psalmist continues to petition God to bring justice into effect. He declares that God would, at some point in the future, answer his petition. You see, the true test of faith is to allow ourselves not to be disappointed with God. It is easy when we see all the evil around us to reject God because He does not act in ways that we would think that He should. But true faith recognizes the limitations of our minds and our hearts. We can barely comprehend our own lives. Hence, to think that we would be able to comprehend the wisdom of God's actions or His perceived inaction is a matter of enormous pride. Now, this does not mean that we do not wrestle with what is happening around us. Indeed, Psalm 10 demonstrates clearly how the psalmist wrestles with God in the face of the evil that he sees around him. And he chooses to trust that God will set things right. And so must we. We must believe, even as we struggle with the silence of God, that God will set things right. This is the challenge of faith in a God whose wisdom we can barely even begin to comprehend, whose wisdom was demonstrated preeminently on a Roman cross.